Yep, gonna be hitting you with the back to back once again with this new season of Spy Family right here, right now. But yep, Spy Family Season 3. This is a brand new anime to wrap up of the fall 2025 season by Wit Studios and Cloverworks once again. And this, of course, is the follow-up to Spy Family Season 2 and the Spy Family co-white movie that came out not too long ago in 2023 and 2024, respectfully. And if you remember what happened in the previous seasons of Spy Family in general, you pretty much should know what Spy Family is up until this point. I shouldn't have to really give you a full synopsis of what the whole show is all about, as this has become one of the biggest, most commercially successful mainstream animes of recent memory. And it's no surprise as to why, this ever since the show came out back in 2021, it's been an uphill slope since then. And while it has stagnated over the years, it is still one of the most talked about and most popular anime shows in mainstream today. So with Spy Family Season 3, I definitely was going to expect that, okay, we're going to get the same thing, the same shtick that we've come to know up until this point. And I can confidently say that, like, after watching Spy Family Season 3, I do personally think that this is by far the darkest that this show has gone into in a really good while since like the earlier first season of Spy Family, if that makes sense. Because in this third season, we're diving to like more into like some really serious but really like character building territory, where again I feel like to kind of sum up like the seasons in my view, Spy Family season one was focused on all three of our main characters. Season two, it felt more focused towards Anya in a way, and then now in season three, this is focused more on Loids' backstory, his character, and then of course some really darker, serious moments that progress throughout this third season. And I gotta say, to start off like the compliments of the show, I'll say it right here, right now. Animation for the show is still fire. It's still really smooth. It's still clean. It's still iconically recognizable for a show of this caliber. The humor on the show still slaps. The action in the show still slaps. The music in this show is probably the most underrated that's going to be talked about in this year. Because while I do prefer Spy Family Season 1's theme song and the music that backed it up, season three is probably like an underrated contender because again, I will say that in the grand scheme of like anime fanatics talk about like Spy Family now in the modern day and age, I think in the wake of like season two and I believe the second half of Spy Family season one, there are some people that kind of dropped this show altogether and decides to not continue bothering checking the show out. But I'm here to say that this show is still giving you a lot of laughs, still giving you a lot of really good heartfelt moments, and in its own right, I think that this is a show that can be really relatable now in a sense. Because in this third season, like I said, this the first half of this third season really does dive deep into Lloyd or Spy Twilight's backstory and why he became a spy, what was his aspiration to why he wants to prevent another war from happening. And it's super heartfelt, but it's also really dark and depressing, and you just wonder like, man, you actually now come to know understand why Lloyd is the person that he is, even under his Operation Strix name that he's going for right now, you understand his intentions and why he is the character we come to know and love. Also, in Spy Family Season 3, we come to know a really key and really important character that comes into the fray in the Operation Strict stuff, and that is Damien's mother. Damien's mother in this third season is probably one of the most like at first when you come to know her, she comes as like really sweet, really wholesome, and then that one iconic scene in this third season really sums her character up so well where she can be really sweet on the outside, but the moment you mention her husband's name, boom, she snaps and she becomes a completely different person that at one point loves David, but then all of a sudden despises him, hates him, and to the point that she just wants nothing to do with him. And it's just like, whoa, this is some dark territory that I haven't seen in previous seasons prior, or maybe I have, and I just haven't, I can't remember it. But either way, Damien's mother is like another highlight for me in this third season. And then when we go into like the really big and iconic final moments of this third season, it tackles deep into again more of Lloyd's backstory, another really intense mission that really makes or breaks him as someone who's trying to be like the Lloyd forger of the family, but also trying to break this balancing between him in his family state and in his spy state. And it kind of ends in such a really climactic but really interesting food for thought moment that, like, man, Lloyd, or aka Twilight, is now no longer like the spy that he was so that we come to know and love from the earlier seasons. Now he's really at that balancing act where he has to choose whether he continues being the spy that we come to know and love, or he kind of falters and he takes off the mask, the bravado, and actually goes into the normal happy life that he's been used to up until this point. And again, I mean, that's really what Spy Family Season 3 is all about. It just feels it's really focused on Lloyd's character all the way through. And not to say that, like, Anya and Your Forger doesn't get their like credit where credit's due, right? They still appear. There actually are some moments where we get to dive deep into like the school setting that Anya goes through and what Yor goes through, especially with the new character I mentioned just now. And it's done so well in a really nice, cohesive, but really beautiful, messy mess that this show provides. So again, if you really love Spy Family Season 2 and the whole franchise as a whole, I think Season 3 is the best that the show has to offer since the first season, in my opinion. And to me, it's easy, like in my view, super close to hitting the nail of like recapturing the first season in all its glory. Oh, and I gotta say, shout out to Frost Fiona once again. That character, the performance, still crushing it, still giving us a reason why we care about Agent Frost in a nutshell. And again, I think that this is definitely a reason why this is one of the best animes of the year, if not possibly the most underrated anime of this year. Which is why I'm feeling like a decent 8 on this thing. It's really good, really strong, and I can't say anything else positive about it. And again, it may not be a show for everybody in the day, but I do highly recommend you to check out Spy Family if you haven't checked it out already. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Later.